Hey guys, my name is Batimio, and welcome to my show. So the PlayStation 4 has finally been announced. We all were awaiting the day when more information was going to be released about the upcoming consoles, and Sony has truly delivered. They had a 2-hour event where they went over a lot of their philosophy, and they went over a lot of the stuff that they plan on having on the next-gen console. And for today's video, I'm not going to talk about everything, because that would take a ridiculous amount of time, and if you would like to watch the entire thing, I'm sure it's online. But what I'm going to do is talk about the stuff that I found to be really interesting and important, and some of the stuff that I found to be exciting, and hopefully you guys are going to be excited about as well. So the first thing that I was really glad to see was that apparently Sony sat down with a lot of developers from all over the world and asked them, what would you like to see in the next gen consoles? What can we do to make your life easier, and what can we do to allow you to create some of the best games that are going to come out for these next gen systems? And the developers responded very well to it. They said that we want this, and this, and if you do that, we're gonna love you. I'm paraphrasing. And apparently that is what Sony has done, and I'm really glad that they took the time to do this, because if I remember right, the PlayStation 3 kind of had a rocky start. People and developers really didn't like the system that they had. They had a hard time creating games that worked properly for the PlayStation 3, and to know that they are trying to completely avoid that for the PlayStation 4 is always good. And the reason why I even bring this up is because this means that developers won't have to be constricted by the hardware. I mean, they'll always be constricted by hardware constraints, but hopefully it won't be as bad as what it was for the PlayStation 3, and they can just do whatever they want. They can really let their imagination fly and do as much as they can, which will hopefully lead to some fantastic games that we normally wouldn't have had if they had to always be thinking about the hardware that they were using and the restraints and the restrictions that it had. Now, during their big reveal, one of the things that they were really trying to drive home was that for the next gen console, you never really felt like you needed to wait around to play. So you grab the controller, you start up the system, and then after a couple of seconds, you're already playing a game. You're already back in the single player, you're playing a multiplayer. It's very fast and fluid. And they gave a bunch of examples of this. And one of the things that I thought was really cool, while it's not a very new technology, at least for PC, is that you can start a download. Let's say you buy a game, you start downloading it, you get the first gigabyte going, you can jump into the game, start to play it from the start, and let the rest of the game, let's say it's 20 gigabytes, you can let that kind of download in the background and continue to play. This isn't, like I said, this isn't new technology. If you ever played a Blizzard game like World of Warcraft or Diablo 3, they have something like this in place, but it's really cool that console is starting to adopt stuff like this. Another cool example that they give is that if you are playing a single player game, you've had your fun for the day, you exit out, you save your game, and then you can place it into a sleeper or a low power mode. And once it's in this mode, all you have to do once you get, you want to play again, is you press the start button, it loads up, and it loads back your save game, and you're right back to where you were, and it only apparently takes a couple of seconds, and that's awesome. I mean, one of the things, I guess it's not really a nuisance or anything, it's just kind of what consoles are right now, is you boot up the system, it takes a couple of minutes, you boot up the game, that takes a while, you find your loaded game, and then you're back into it. But for this type of thing, all you have to do is put it in the sleeper mode, and then it's going to activate it, and you're playing within a couple of seconds. Not crazy by any means, but definitely a very cool option. And the final example that I'm going to give for this type of theme is that they talked about personalization, and they talked about a system. They didn't go into minute detail by any means, but they were going to have a system that kind of tracks what you like and what you dislike. So I personally am a huge fan of first-person shooters and the Battlefield franchise. So what they said is that it's going to know I like those types of games, so that when the new game comes out, it has already downloaded the entire thing onto my console, and then when I click the buy button on their store, I will have the entire game ready to go. I won't even need to download anything at that point, and I can play, which is cool, but also kind of weird and freaky at the same time. And the only thing I can kind of nitpick at this is, well, how many games is it going to download onto my system? Because is it going to fill up all, just because it's like, oh, he's going to want this game, he's going to want that game. But in reality, I only want to play a couple of games and I have no interest in that. And I'm going to have a full hard drive. That's, I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue. They've probably accounted for that by all means, but it's interesting in its concept. And the final thing I wanted to talk about are the graphics. Everyone wants to know how good these games looked. And going into it, I was a little skeptical. I mean, I'm a PC player. I play on computers exclusively, so I'm kind of spoiled when it comes to amazing looking games. But when I saw the Deep Down trailer, where it was like swords and arrows and dragons, at first I was like, this has to be CGI, anyone can make a good CGI. What is this? But then it went on over into kind of like a first person mode where a guy tosses you a torch, you grab it, you're moving around in dark caverns, and then you see a dragon, and it has like a UI in the left hand corner, and it looks like gameplay. And if it is gameplay, man, have they made some leaps and bounds from the current system. Like, it looked gorgeous. Even if this was on PC and that was what people are playing on, like really, really high quality. And for me, in the event, that was probably the highlight. And there was a lot of highlights when it came to the graphics end of things. They showed us Killzone. We got to see Watch Dogs as well. Watch Dogs. Damn, that game looks just disgusting. I mean, we've seen some footage of it before. I think it was at E3 this past year, but they showed us some more. And you're taking control of all these different things with your phone. You're escaping the police. Really, really cool things going on with that. But when I walked away from the convention, or from the big reveal, I was thoroughly impressed by the graphics. And this is coming from someone who plays on PC exclusively, and to see what they're doing with it really made my day. But that's all I really wanted to talk about for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. There was a lot of information in their 2-hour reveal, and I know I didn't cover everything, but this was the stuff that I found to be most interesting and the stuff that I was getting really pumped up for. But before I go, I would really like to know what you guys think about the PlayStation 4. Are you a little disappointed by what you saw, or are you kind of content and you like the direction that Sony is heading? Let me know down below in the comment section. But until tomorrow, guys, have a good one and take it easy.